right, good evening. I think we've got a fairly thin crowd tonight and a fairly light agenda for our meeting, so we'll go ahead and get started. Lord, I thank you for this day and this week. Thank you for the reminder of the sacrifice on the cross and the celebration to come from the resurrection. Lord, I just thank you for this group that represents Northridge and our mission to make you known, Lord, throughout the world. Be with us tonight as we talk about and discern items of business, and be with us and keep us safe as we travel back home this evening. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, very light meeting. Again, we always start off with our vision: authentic community that knows Christ and one another while making Christ known in the neighborhood, city, and world. And again, we'll talk some about it here in a little bit as we go through another bullet point, the Northridge mission. And the vision obviously can change. And in fact, this vision, the words in this vision have changed within the last 10 years. But I would say our mission in general doesn't change. You know, it stays consistent, our why. But this is the current representation of our vision. Later we'll be talking about our mission, and they're kind of one and the same. So there's just different ways to verbalize it, and this is how we currently choose to verbalize it. All right, so tonight we're going to approve some minutes. I'm going to update you on the endowment fund performance from last year and give you a little bit of insight to the endowment fund. We only talk about the endowment fund 1 to 2 times a year. We update the body through a business meeting each year as far as how the endowment fund did in the prior year and what's available for distribution. And then we also bring in front of the congregation any recommendations for grant approvals to the endowment fund. So this will be, I'll be updating you, but I'm going to give you a little bit of color on the endowment fund because it's one of those things that we can kind of lose track of at times just because we don't talk about it on a monthly basis. Joe will give us an update on what the stewardship team's been up to and kind of how our finances are looking a fourth of the way through the year. And then we'll have an opportunity for questions and answer at the end. Minutes. We can go ahead and go to the next one. And the next one. All right, so Brandy asked me to mention to you guys where the minutes are to make sure you guys have the ability to or know where to see those. Obviously, if you're someone who likes a hard copy and have been doing the same thing year after year, there's a bulletin board at the intersection of the main hall and the hall that connects it to the children's wing. There's a wooden bulletin in there that has last business meeting, last leadership team meeting minutes, as well as budget and other financial information and items to share. I think it has information in there about leadership team and different ministries as well. So any updates are posted down there, and you should be able to keep present on that. However, also during the weekly updates that come out, and this was the last one I found in my inbox, that looks like that. On the left would be what the top of that looks like, and if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see a couple of links in there to leadership team minutes and business team minutes. So those are where you can also stay connected just through electronic format on those items. And that's important because obviously we'll ask you from time to time to approve some minutes. I'm going to ask you here in a little bit to approve minutes, and it's hard to do that unless you've read the minutes. So, all right, let's go to the next slide. So my eyes are really bad, and I'm talking here instead of turning around because I can see that. But if you were here for the February business meeting and read the minutes that have been published to that meeting, I would ask if I have your approval for those minutes as they were distributed. Complete silence would have meant nobody read the minutes. So I was any disapproval? And any disapproval would be hard to believe because Linda does such an awesome job at taking minutes and distributing them for us. All right, we can move forward. Endowment fund update, and I'm going to switch from my clerk hat to the lead of the endowment fund committee. And again, I cannot read that up there, so let's move this around. I'm going to turn my back to you. So the endowment fund, it is a financial part of Northridge Friends Church. You will see it in some of the kind of the financial reporting that we do, but it is set aside from the general fund and managed through a different set of rules, if you will. The fund's overseen by an endowment fund committee, which currently on that committee is myself, Joe Winkles, Jeff Kinneberg, Taylor Hoppick, and Ruth Bimford. Primary purpose of the fund is income growth to be used for the support of the Northridge Friends Church mission. And that's where I was talking about the mission and kind of the verbalization of what that mission is through our vision. The thing about the endowment fund that's pretty cool is that the principal, money that is given to the endowment fund, is never spent. Money given to the endowment fund essentially exists in perpetuity or until this group decides to change those rules. But as it is written right now, that is how the endowment fund works. So if you give money to the endowment fund, that money will continue to create growth, income, and the ability to support our mission as far forward as we keep that going, as long as Northridge is here. Principals never spent, money given to the endowment fund exists into perpetuity. Funds are made available for distribution in years of positive income at the lesser of the prior year's income or 7% of the total fund value. Again, we don't want to always give away all of the income because, again, the purpose is growth and to continue to be able to provide growth that keeps up with the rate of inflation and stuff like that. So we want to continue to take some of that growth and reinvest it as principal. So we never spend 100% of that. Over the last 10 years, giving to the endowment fund has really only come in the form of memorials. And really there's only been just under $15,000 given to the endowment fund over the last 10 years. I think that's something that there's a real opportunity for us to kind of be aware of the endowment fund and consider it as an opportunity to look for ways to give into that endowment fund. And I'll talk about that at the end of this part of the presentation. Also, over the last 10 years, there's been 4 distributions that have been made for a total of $63,291 and some change. And during that same period of time, the fund value has grown by $125,000 after distributions. So if we hadn't given out that money, you'd be about $190,000 in growth. But in 2014, at the end of the year 2014, we had $190,000 and some change in the endowment fund. At the end of 2024, we have $300,000. And again, that's only with that $15,000 of giving, incremental giving that's been placed in there. We have given out $63,000 in grants over those last 10 years. I think there's an opportunity, again, for some awareness of how the grants are placed and used and approved to make that a little bit more of a ongoing effort to find ways to support our ministries. And I think there's an opportunity for us to look at ways to consider the endowment fund as part of our discretionary giving beyond the tithe, if you will. So if we look at the end of 2024 and what our income was and what's going to be available for distribution, there's going to be just under $26,000 available for distribution in 2025. That is 7% of the current fund value. So therefore our income last year was greater than 7% and led to that number. We do have grant requests in hand that are still being fine-tuned, getting more information on before we can look at giving a recommendation on those. But the Endowment Fund Committee is in the process of receiving and reviewing grant requests and will likely have a recommendation to the congregation during our next business meeting. So again, the things where you guys have an influence over this is while there is a committee reviewing the grant request and then bringing proposals to the congregation as far as how to use that $26,000 that's available, it ultimately comes to the congregation to affirm that recommendation that will be made at some point this year. There's a lot of numbers here. I just wanted to have it up there, mainly in case anybody asks me specific questions. But again, we started this, as far as me tracking this, back in 2014, and so this is the form that I have used to track this in. In 2014, when I came on as treasurer, Mark Kinsel asked me to dig into the endowment fund a little bit because it had kind of sat unmanaged for a little while. No one knew if there was a committee, who was on the committee, what the rules of the endowment fund was. It was just one of those things that, again, without active management and people kind of falling off the team and stuff like that, it really wasn't being discussed. The money was sitting there, it was earning income, but we hadn't, I don't know when, prior to 2015, we had made a distribution. So that's why in this picture you only see it going to 2015, and again, that's for the distribution year of 2015. So again, that income and everything represents 2014 through 2024, which is the distribution years of 2015 through 2025. And again, you can see on those the distribution line, which I think is the fourth from the bottom there, the numbers that make up that $63,000 that have been distributed over that same period of time. And then the contributions, again, fairly light, only in 2019 and 2022. And again, I think all of those contributions that have been made through memorial giving. After someone from the church has passed away, we've had a service here, we've made memorial giving an opportunity, and then the family has decided to say, hey, let's use that and distribute that giving towards the endowment fund, and that's how that $14,000 to $15,000 has found its way in there. All right, so what can you guys do? Become active in the grant request process. Again, most of that runs through various ministry teams, and hopefully you're finding your way on a ministry team that kind of fits where your kind of gifts and talents are at and participating in those. But even if you're not, you can look at making grant requests. Again, there'll be instruction and forms available through the office on how to do that and who to get those requests to. And the other is giving. And again, that's one we just really haven't focused on very much. And I think it's a large opportunity. Again, your gift, if you choose to give to the endowment fund, it will continue to support the Northridge mission in perpetuity. And so it can exist and create value for the mission long after you're physically gone and not here any longer. So ways you can do that, again, consider giving to the endowment fund beyond your tithe. If you have other charitable things that you're looking to invest your income into beyond the tithe, there's lots of opportunities to do that, all very good. Obviously, the biggest one we participate in is the NFC Beyond Northridge fund that supports our missionaries and different activities that are outside of Northridge. Family Promise is probably one that a lot of you give to, but put this one on the list too. It's things that you can give to as you're looking for ways to invest your funds in Christ. And then back up, don't go yet. This one's touchy, right? But consider it as an opportunity or something as you're going through your estate planning, and you're thinking about, hey, once I'm gone and I'm distributing, I've got a will, and I'm distributing that income, is there a portion of that that we would want to set aside and give, again, to continue to provide for the mission well beyond our physical ability to do that? Our finances can continue to do that through that sort of giving. So just keep that in mind. I know I'm keeping that in mind, and as something that I think has a lot of opportunity for Christ. All right, now you can move on. Any questions for the endowment fund, as I still have my endowment fund committee hat on? Yeah, Bruce. So, Tony, can you back up to the grid, the spreadsheet that I have there? So this will tell you where we're currently invested. It's the short answer to your question is the endowment fund committee. It's not something that we're actively managing on a weekly, monthly, yearly basis. Obviously, we want to be aware of where the funds are invested. We're tracking what that performance looks like, and if we feel like we need to move those around. But the bigger rock there is that we're utilizing Vanguard as that investment tool to do that. And so you can see up there, and you got the Vanguard, all these are Vanguard funds, but we got money in the Emerging Market Index, the Interterm Bond Index, the Developed Market Index, and a couple of other, we've got the 500 Index Fund, and I believe that's the External Market Index. And then we have money in cash as well that we utilize. If people give money, we'll throw that in our checking account. That's also where we'll make distributions from, and everything is in that cash. But the idea would be to have all of our funds fully invested in creating growth opportunity for us. Yep. Any other questions? All right, I'll take my endowment fund committee hat off, back onto clerk, and I will call Joe up.
All right, thank you, Chad. Hey, everybody. So I love getting up here and giving a positive report, which is exactly what this is going to be. No negative news this time, which is a praise, right? I guess the first one is a facilities update. Was that the first one? Did we skip one or no? Okay, thank you. So facilities-wise, as you know, chairs are in. They came in since the last business meeting. We had a very large group of volunteers that came in to help, which was outstanding because the truck showed up over in the parking lot, and then we had to unload them ourselves and unwrap them and inspect them all and move them all in. And I was very appreciative of the group that we had to come in and do that. And I think they have turned out very, very well. I am very pleased with the quality and the color and the sound dampening ability as well. It's been very nice. And we still have a few more that are coming. They were not able to fulfill all of them, but we do have some more for other places within the church. So another item that the stewards team that we are doing at the beginning of this year is we're going through an organizing process. So here at the church, I think it's been probably quite a while since we've had an organized effort on going through identifying all of the items that we have here at the church. A lot of times we might have something, but we can't find it in the short term, or we don't know where it is, and that results in us going and purchasing a duplicate, which is unnecessary. So that's something that we're wanting to rectify. So we're going through and doing a plan, and we've already started executing on this plan of where different items for different teams are going to be stored. So if you're curious about that, just contact one of the stewards teams. We have kind of a list of what's going to be stored where. And then as we start moving things around and organizing, we're going to be doing documentation. That way, we do have kind of a list of what our inventory is in various places. The first step of that process was working on the fellowship room. So if you have not been down there in a while, I'd recommend going down and checking it out. But the fellowship team had requested some cabinets on the, what would that be, west wall of the fellowship room for storing a lot of the items that they use. That way they didn't have to be stored in the youth wing or in the ballroom or various other places to be collected, or just on these movable racks in that room that were not aesthetically pleasing. So Kevin McDonald purchased the wood, did the building of the cabinets initially, and then we came in and did the install. We are still going to be putting doors on those cabinets and staining them so that they look nice. Debbie Kensel came in and did painting of that room, and I think it's looking a lot better. But anyway, that was kind of the first step in the organizing process so that we could get the fellowship items that were in some of the other places consolidated into that room, making room in some of the other locations that we can start moving around. So anyway, there is a plan. If you start seeing things moved around or shuffled, just be aware that's what that is. If you are looking for something and it has previously been stored in room X and it's not there anymore, check with one of us. Something that I need to do is put that list with the staff, and that way it's available here at the church of what should be stored where. Along those same lines, tying on the last 2 points, right? Obviously we have chairs and we're going through this organizing process. We did put chairs in the balcony as well. So the small pews that were up there have been moved out. They are in the small garage. You noticed this morning out in the foyer we have a sign on one of the pews. I think there are 18 of them, something like that. I think several have been spoken for already, but we are looking for people who might be interested in taking them. We do not have a need for them, and as part of the cleaning up process on April 26th, the stewardship team is going to be meeting out in the small garage and straightening that area. So if the pews are not gone by the 26th, then we will find a permanent place for them to live. That's not in any of our homes, if you get what I mean. So if you want some, please come and grab them. If you know of another location that might benefit from having them, please have them come and grab them as well, right? If you need help getting in the building or coordinating a time, even helping load, just contact one of the stewardship team, contact the staff if you don't have our info, and we can get that coordinated. See, I covered that one. Just some other items of things that have been happening to our facilities since the last business meeting. Joy was very interested in getting the children's wing kind of freshened up. It has had the same look for quite a long time, and so she coordinated with the painter and picked colors. He came in over spring break, did a fantastic job of painting everything, freshening it up. Also, we spent a little bit of time not adding new lights, but updating the lights so that it's a little brighter in the hallways. So if you, again, hadn't had a chance to go down and look at that, please do that. Also related to the children's ministry, it came to our attention from the homeschool group that is meeting here every Tuesday that the playground equipment, not the equipment, but the swing set was in pretty bad shape. I think we've had it for quite a while. It was deteriorating, and they were concerned that it was going to collapse anytime. So they were concerned enough that they weren't letting their kids play on it, and they were willing to donate funds to help pay for a new one, which is outstanding because they obviously don't have to do that. We looked at it and decided that we didn't want to replace it with something that was equivalent to what we had there, but we are a growing community, thankfully, and we have kids running around and more kids on the way. So we decided to invest into a bigger swing set that should last quite a while, accommodate more kids, larger kids. That got installed 2 weeks ago or so, 3 weeks ago. Again, if you haven't had a chance to look at it, feel free to go out and check that out. We are also putting a bench out there. That was one of the requests from the memorial. A memorial that came in is having a nice bench to set out in the shade. So we're pouring out some concrete, going to set up that bench for adults to sit while the kids play. So that's just some of the things that have been updated. Is there a financial slide up there? Okay, so I will just talk to the finances then. So finance-wise, our budget for 2025 was $505,000, and then we are a quarter of the way through the year, which just budget-wise would mean that we would expect giving, just linearly wise, would expect giving of $126,000. So far through the end of March, we've received giving of $133,000. So we are on track, doing very well, especially given the fact that normally the end of the year is heavier ended in terms of the giving. Expenses are also something to take into consideration. Expenses are definitely in line with what we are expecting through this year. So from a finance perspective, we're doing well, as we're doing very healthy as a body. Thank you for that commitment and being faithful in that. And then the last piece that I had here is just being a good steward. If you are on a team or you are responsible for anything with an organization, you hear the good and then you also hear the bad, right? You hear positives and then you hear things that need addressed and helped. And so as a stewardship team, we hear of things that are breaking or people not taking care of facilities, whether it's not cleaning or not taking care of something. And so just as a reminder of all of us, I would like all of us just to keep in mind and pass on to others in your groups or your communities that when you use something here at Northridge, just treat it as your own house, right? That this is our house. We get to come here and meet and enjoy and fellowship together. If you use a room, if you use dishes, if you use a van, a trailer, take care of it. Put it away, clean it up. If there's a lot of trash left, feel free to take it out, right? We do have a cleaning service that comes in, but there's also, I think they come in once or twice a week, but if you have smelly food or something, again, please just be aware of that. You fill something up, just take it out. And the same is true with the vans, right? If you have a van trip and had a bunch of people in there, and they've left it a little bit of a wreck, have them help you or you clean it up. Anyway, just being aware that these are resources, assets that we have as a community that we are very privileged to have, and we should be taking care of them. If something happens and something gets broken or damaged, those things happen, that's understandable. It is much better if you let somebody know versus it just being found, right? Because sometimes that might be a dangerous situation if it's unsafe or definitely doesn't look good on our community as a whole. So if something does need addressed, please let one of us know. Please let the staff know. I went ahead and listed the members of the stewardship team there. And that way we can get it taken care of quickly. All right. And that's really all I had. Any questions for me, finance-wise, facilities-wise? Yes, sir. Okay, sure. So to address that one, that's absolutely true. Our north and west areas, not really part of the lawn, but part of the community or the Northridge property, is very bad with stickers. I think it was 2, maybe 3 years ago, we had put a plan in place to address those. The first step of the plan was putting in the well, right, which we did, right? So in order to address the stickers of that type, we've heard are very hard to get rid of. It's supposedly a 7-year process. So once a sticker gets in the ground, it's 7 years before you have the chance of eradicating it, and you have to stay on top of it. But part of the process is irrigating a lot of the anti-sticker, what's the word I'm looking for? Fertilizer, the stuff that will make them not grow, whatever that's called. It needs irrigated, right? So we put the well in because that's what we had the budget for that year. The following year, we had budgeted for the actual irrigation system, but that's when we were hit with being dropped by the insurance. And so we had to abandon that. We have not yet picked that up. That item did come up at this last stewardship meeting, but we do not have a good plan in place for addressing it yet. So thank you for the concern. It is something that we need to be looking at. Yes, sir. I think of the ones that spread out. Yeah, so if anybody has ideas or recommendations of how to address them, or a company, or someone who might have some ideas, we're all ears.
If you want to see what kind they are, just go out here and just roll to the street and that, you'll find it.
Yes, sir. You can talk. This is good. Not to my knowledge. When we first put them together, if I understand what you're talking about, so these chairs have a little plastic piece that will flip out, and it allows a wooden dowel to connect the two together, and that way it's more of a connected chair row instead of individual chairs. And I think the quality of those was fine, but when we start trying to move them around while they're connected, that causes them to break. Right? And that was the concern. I know that Gene had looked into possibly making some metal dowels for that. Okay, and so we have them, just need to put them in if that's something that continues to break. So as the wood dowels break, we can put those in. Yep. Anybody else? Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
All right, like I said, fairly light meeting tonight. Only had the one item for approval, but obviously Joe just gave you an opportunity to ask questions about stewardship, but also before we wrap up for the evening, there's an opportunity if you have any other questions that you want to kind of voice or comments you want to make during the business meeting. This would be your opportunity for that. A plan to promote as far as like giving. Well, this is kind of it. The plan is hopefully we have good turnout. Tonight's a little bit light of a turnout. We'll continue to mention it during business meetings. It's probably not something that really fits real well from a Sunday morning discussion type thing. But if there's an opportunity to do that, maybe we can look at that. But again, you guys have that. Communicate that with your friends and your communities. And we do that obviously through our leadership team as well, and hopefully that finds its way filtered down through those various ministry teams, which once we start doing that starts to encompass a good section of our church body. One of the things that's really good too, I guess as I touch on that, is while tonight's very light participation, we are seeing growing participation at Northridge, and not only obviously we see that I think on Sunday mornings as we look across and look at the number of people that are here on Sundays mornings, but a lot of those people are investing their time in the community beyond Sunday as well. So it's a real blessing for that. But again, one of the main things is, again, as a community, and that's why we kind of continue to always talk about community, is it's just the importance of discussion and sharing and lifting one another up and sharing items like this. Obviously, we didn't have 200 people show up to business meeting tonight. That'd been really nice, but the ones that I see in here, I know talk a lot. So, so I'm just going to hope you guys share that and infect the others with the message. I know Bruce can. Anything else? All right. Well, that wraps our meeting up, even though I apparently dropped some of Joe's slides, but he was able to shoot from the hip and he had all those numbers memorized, so that's really good. Either that or he made them up, but I think they seem to match up with the slides I saw before I must have deleted it. All right, well, that's our meeting for tonight. Again, thank you for making the time to be here. Go out and enjoy what's left of the day, and thank you.